Oh, sorry.
Hi guys, welcome back to the video. I'm Tammy Jean.
I'm HDA Pratt.
And I'm Meg Kern.
And we are the Unearthly Gang.
So Tammy, what are we talking about today?
Today we are going to talk about franchises and the impact franchises have on us. What other franchises can you think of?
So I think a big one for me when I was a teenager that everyone was obsessed with when I was a teenager. Well, no, actually,
That's what I
Hunger
thought
Games.
he was going to say as well.
Though we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
Hello, tattoo.
Oh yeah.
I'll explain that.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
explain
Yeah,
it.
I told you about that. That's not the first question I asked him. Anyway.
Twilight.
Oh.
That was the
Okay.
one of my, not for me, I mean I liked it and I liked the books, they're interesting, I think the books were better and I will 100% always go back and I will
Okay.
rewatch the whole Twilight. Me and Carl will watch it. It's our Sunday movie films, we can sit there and watch that all day.
I read the books over and again. They're actually like weirdly one of my favourite sets of books.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I hate the films.
Completely.
I don't like the actress, the actors.
Yeah.
I don't like the.
You don't like Kirsten Stewart?
No, I don't like her. I don't like the girl who plays Alice. I don't like.
You
Robert
don't like her?
Pattinson.
I really like her.
No, I don't like the guy who plays Jasper. I do like the guy who plays Carlisle.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
But
But
he's so different in anything else.
So, Twilight, for me, was the first set of books that so Harry Potter was yours,
Yeah.
Twilight was mine. And I was the first
You
set
read
I read.
she read the whole lot. She
lot.
read them.
I read them from start to almost finish. Because the last
I'm honestly shocked.
book, the chunky
big.
book, the chunky book, I left the last 2 chapters because I didn't want to know how it ended.
Oh, you what?
I didn't want to know how it
Is this
ended.
before the last film came out?
Yeah.
But this is
And I left it because I didn't want to know how it ended.
Is
So I didn't read it.
She said to me, she's like, I'm not going to read the last Harry Potter book because I don't need to read it. And I was like, you need to read it because there were so many good bits in it.
I need to finish that.
Whoa.
I know you're going to have an issue with this, right? I know.
Wait, is there
But where does it end then?
Yeah, what bit did you get up to?
So I literally got up to the bit before. So in the movies, they go for a big battle,
Yeah.
and
Doesn't
but what are they called? The Volturi.
The Volturi, yeah.
The Volturi, where they meet
Kind of.
up
Yeah.
with the
Johnson.
Volturi again.
Yeah.
So obviously in the movies, it's a completely different ending to the books.
Yeah.
I haven't read the ending in the books because I quite liked the way they did it in the movie.
Okay.
The ending in the book is actually quite sweet.
Sim-
like
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's
And it's the last line.
yeah. Oh,
It's
what
the
was
last
it?
line.
What was the last one?
Something about I will truly love you.
Just say it. It's fine.
And then we start the first bit of our
Forever.
forever. It's something like that. It's
Something
really quite
really
cute.
sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So.
And even the no, they do it at the end of the last film. It's
They do.
flicked through the pages and then it shows the last line. And that's the last
When I went
episode.
to see The Last Twilight,
Yeah.
right, I tell everyone this story because I think you're going to have to beat me again.
How many times do you have to beat her?
Normally
I
not
think-
too bad. She's on once now.
I think it's hilarious. So I sat there, we were watching it, I was enjoying the movie, it was a little bit sad, a little bit touching, you know. Oh, I didn't cry or anything like that.
No.
There was a girl in front of me, and you know, at the end, so it's the movie had finished, and they were running the end credits, but they were bringing up the pictures of the characters
Yes,
and the
the
people that
actors.
played the actors and stuff
Yeah.
like that. This girl sat in front of me, sobbing, and I was like,
Still, like, we
Really?
I was like, but then I thought she was just like a little, and I was like, okay, all right, she's upset, okay, sure. Then they come up with Jacob on the screen and done like his little bit, and she literally, and I was like,
Is she alright? Are you
I'm
alright?
like, I want to ask you if you're okay because I'm not sure she was not okay.
Oh god.
Like,
I had to leave the cinema at the end of Breaking Dawn Part 1 because you know the bit where Ed was like hacking away at her. And
Yes.
I honestly felt like it was
Yeah.
gross. And I had to actually go out and I was like sat outside the cinema, I had my head between my legs and I was like, apparently I went white as a sheet. And I don't know what it was, it was like all the blood and that just creeped me
Just
out
too
so
much.
much. And I literally, I missed the entire end of the film because I came back in and they were like, her eyes opened and she was a vampire and I was like, what? I missed it all!
that was creepy though because all her bones click back into
That was
place,
it.
don't they?
It was the bones.
Yeah.
No,
It's when her chest goes up. It looks
Yeah.
really weird because it's like really thingy in
It
it.
does feel like she looks a bit like a doll there.
It's meant to be the point. Though,
Yeah,
isn't it?
that
It's
is.
perfection.
Perfection.
creeped me out.
But, yeah, so Twilight was another one, but
Yeah.
quickly, just wrapping that up. Team Edward.
Team Jacob.
Team Edward in the books, Team Jacob in the films.
I said this though, I did switch in the middle movie. movie,
Mm.
I
Just
switched.
because Jacob got hot.
Yeah.
No, and I felt sorry for him because
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
Sparkly's.
watching them back now, when we watched them recently on the Sundays, and I'm not Team Jacob anymore.
You know.
He's not as attractive as he was when I was younger.
Yeah.
That's true.
And now I see the love between him and Bella, and it's kind of like, mate, she's very
Exactly.
interested in
I
you.
always just thought everyone was a bit controlling. I was like, if I had a boyfriend like that,
I don't think he
like,
was
you
con-
need to be here and I need to look
Yeah,
after
but it's because he's worried she's going to die all the time.
Yeah.
Because
you.
once,
Just call it, mate.
yeah, but you think
Yeah.
once she's a vampire, he doesn't care. He's
No.
not worried about her at all.
No,
and
I
it's-
totally get that, but I just thought he was a bit like, I felt like he needed to just stand back.
Yeah.
So that franchise has slowly died off
Yes, that's,
It was a
that's
very
one that
big
hasn't.
for.
Because they had the book Short Life of Brienne of Tarth,
That was good.
which was good, but then made me sad, and I really wanted her character in the other ones.
Yeah.
And then she's then going to do another book, but from his perspective, which I didn't see the point of.
No.
And that's where it's kind of like, well, now let it go.
Yeah.
I read the beginning of that.
I've heard it's meant to be interesting because it's all about his bloodlust and
It
all
was
that.
good, but I was a bit like, I already knew what was going to happen, so I was just
That's
waiting
it.
for it all to happen.
And it's just the same kind of story, but from
Yeah.
his side, which is good, but do it either
I
doing
like the
another
word
series or
bloodlust.
just something else. Bloodlust.
I like that.
What was that?
Silence of the
Like a
Lambs.
snake.
Hello, Clarice.
Hello,
Have you seen Silence of the
Clarice.
Lambs?
Oh my
You
god.
don't.
It's creepy.
And then obviously Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Games?
Which-
Yes.
I was saying to Tammy the other day, right, I nitpick films, like literally,
Yes.
I just tear them apart.
Yeah.
I have not found a single thing with the Hunger Games that I don't like. The
Because
films are so spot on with the books.
yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
And because
You were
and,
saying they were scene for scene.
They were
Yeah.
literally like
and
scene
for
scene.
me, if you're going to do that like they have, that's where if you look at that, you look at Harry Potter, even if you look at Twilight, as much as there is some things wrong and it's a bit more
That
of a
CGI baby where it just floats from one hand
so
to the other.
cringy. Like, just do a real baby, no one cares. And then just do the eyes if you want
Yeah.
to do something.
Yeah.
But they've done so well because you've done it by the books. You've done it why people love it. You've done it for the people that actually read the books. Because realistically, the people that love the films will love it after seeing it. So if they only know it from what the books are, they're going to love it, and then they'll want to read the books and they'll love it more.
But that's when films do well, when they cater to both hardcore fans and people that
Yes.
never read the books. Like
Well,
if they
it's-
focus too much on people who've read the books, then other fans miss
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And if they're
Yeah.
too like other fan pleasing, they miss out important things
Yeah.
from the books. Whereas
And
if
then
you like go in
people
the
that love the
middle-
books won't love them, so then you lose half of your...
Exactly.
And this is
Payment
where we
straight away.
get this from this point of view, from both sides of views. You've read the books, I've not read the books. I've seen the movies,
Yes.
I love the movies. You've read the books and love the movies.
Yeah.
They've
So
done. They
it's-
must have done something right.
And
Yeah,
with the
exactly.
Hunger Games, me and my friend Nicole and Kerry at work, I used to work at the cinema, we loved them. And I remember the Catching Fire, we watched it in IMAX, and the bit where they go up into the arena,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the screen goes IMAX in that moment.
Oh.
So it opens up and the chills, it was like, oh my god, I can even now. And we went to the red carpet for, so we didn't go on it, but we went, I think Catching Fire, or maybe it wasn't Catching, yeah, I think it was. Yeah, because Jennifer Lawrence had cut her hair off, and that was Catching Fire. So when she was there for Catching Fire, we went and stood at the red carpet, and we saw them, and we were like, oh my god, Josh Hutchinson, hello,
Oh,
tiny
yes.
little man, but super.
Yeah. I know which one that is.
And then because of that, a few years back, when the last one came out, just before the last one came out, we were then like, we wanted to get tattooed randomly, so we did, and we all got an arrow. So my friend Nicole got an arrow on her foot, Kerry got one on her finger, and then I got mine there. But I wanted mine a bit more interesting, hence why it's a little bit more of a pattern. But that's
So
what
is
it means.
This or that?
Oh, the
Oh, it's the
Is it three?
yeah, it's like Scout. It's like Scout songs.
I think the funniest thing at school, you can cut this out in one second, where we have like assemblies
Mhm.
and there were like 1,000 people in the hall and we all had to stand up, so the headmaster walked in and we're all stood up and then the headmaster stands at the front and he goes like this for us to sit down and some kid just goes, puts his 3 fingers up and and it just like everyone just
You don't
burst
know.
into giggles.
Oh
The
my
headmaster was
God.
like, what?
Yeah, because he probably wouldn't understand. That's brilliant.
When I went to see the last one at the cinema, literally as it started and the logo came up, you know, they dropped the thing. Literally, I was like sort of not. I knew that was a thing,
Yeah.
but I didn't know it was obviously such a big thing because half the people in the cinema are going and doing the little toot. I'm going, what?
For me, the third one, because a lot of films where they've got a part one, like as much as I like Harry Potter Part 1 was a bit boring.
It's boring, yeah.
Whereas Mockingjay I don't know if I was more invested in it at the time, but no. It wasn't boring. It was
because the first half was all camping, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was very
slow.
slow building up, and because it wasn't ever really an ending to that one. It was more just a fact giving, and I love a film like that. But I think by that time, it was the 7th film. I was ready for it.
Yeah.
And then it obviously didn't give it to you. I can watch it now and I don't find it boring, but at the time it wasn't as interesting. Okay.
I'm not sure what you're on about.
Okay, well that's fine. But Mockingjay Part 1 wasn't like that because I felt like it had a beginning, middle, and end, and it did it very well, and it showed that side because it had to show it. It showed it so well with her going around to all the camps and all that. So then it made the last one such a build up and made sense.
I feel like as well because there were so many deaths in that book.
Yes.
That like a lot of the deaths happened in the second part. So like
Yes.
all of the sort of like story building was in the first part,
Yeah.
and then it was like
And
all
it
the
got-
emotional bits.
And it got to show you those characters as
Yeah.
well. Otherwise,
So it
you
was
wouldn't have
more-
felt it as much, and you wouldn't have understood why she gets so distraught and
Finnick,
everything.
I honestly, when I watch that film, I have to fast forward Finnick's death because I cannot watch it now. Like, how many years on is it? And
No,
it still
yeah.
makes me cry. I'm like, Sam Claflin's so beautiful. Why is he dying?
My friend, one of her theories, which I can agree with, I don't like agreeing with it, but I can agree. She said if the war hadn't ended, she would have ended up with Gale. But because it did,
Yeah.
she ended up with Peter. Because Peter
Peter.
was her. Like, Gale was like her angry war. So if the war had carried on, they would have ended up together because they were kind of the same. But once the war ended, she could be with Peter, who was soft and her light and all that. It wouldn't have made sense of her being with her when. But I agree with her in some ways, but don't, because I think after the second one she realises how much she loves him and she doesn't love Gale that way, so it wouldn't have worked.
I've always been Team Gale though. I've had like fights with uni housemates over which team we are. Team Gale.
Are you seriously?
Yes, Team Gale. He looked
What are you?
after her, looked after her family.
Didn't really pick a side.
Oh,
Does
That's
that
it.
make
I
sense?
think in
Like-
the films it doesn't really show you the
Yeah.
sides
No,
as
it doesn't.
much.
In the books, you really feel
You
like
really
it's
feel
taken
that
over.
there is a sides, but in the films it kind of like he kind of loves her. She's clearly not interested, and then she then is interested in Peter.
Yeah.
Whereas in the books you can see that she's a bit more torn,
Mm.
but she does have more of a brotherly love towards Gale just because they've grown up together.
Yeah.
And then the last franchise, which I can't deal with.
Is this
Okay.
Divergent?
Oh,
Honestly,
okay,
I
well, there's
can-
two
I
then.
Shit
There's
on
two.
Divergent all day.
Okay, so we'll do Divergent first. So,
Okay, I know nothing of.
Oh.
Have you seen
Divergent. No.
you haven't even seen
No.
it? Okay, so the first film, very well done,
Spot on. Yeah.
with the book.
Yeah.
The
Good
second
casting.
film, yeah, great
Good
casting.
set.
Is it the same lady?
Shailene Woodley.
Shailene Woodley. Oh, I love
No, it's
Shailene
not Jennifer
so
Lawrence.
much.
Shailene Woodley. And then the second one
Oh, the second one.
kind of just took everything that it had made well wrong.
Did it crash and burn?
Well,
Oh.
they've got the casting spot on in the first film, and it was like when the second film started, they were like, you know what, we'll just shove any old person in here.
Let's
Like
just
if
do it.
if
Why
they've
not?
got a face, then they're cast.
Yeah.
Literally.
And they also, the whole thing with the serums and stuff didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't do that. I mean, they did it in a clever way to kind of guess be more imagery, and
Yeah.
I liked the imagery. But when you then compare it to the books, it's just so random. And
And also, I feel like Shailene Woodley and Theo James, was Theo
Mm.
James, that did sort of a Jennifer Lawrence and X-Men, and they didn't really want to be there.
Yes.
They were contracted into it, so
I
the
felt
acting
that.
was just.
not as
Not
And
yet.
the
There-
chemistry was gone.
the
Like,
chemistry was gone between them. It's like they didn't like each other.
Yeah.
And then in the third one, it just completely.
I never went to see the third one
Don't,
because
ever.
honestly, it upset. The second one upset me so much.
The worst part is the third one is meant to be part one,
Yeah.
and it was awful. And it was because the last book is boring. Sorry, writer.
Okay. Also, it's Veronica Roth, right?
Veronica
She
Roth.
I swear. She up majorly.
Literally.
Killing her main character.
Right?
Honestly, I put the book down and I was
Like-
like, fuck.
But I said the moment I started reading book 3, you read it. First chapter's obviously Trish.
Yeah.
Second chapter 4. Why have you suddenly put his point of view in?
Oh,
Oh, it's
we said
because you're going to
before.
kill her.
Yeah, she literally
Because
the first chapter gave it
It's
away.
the most
didn't she?
obvious. Whereas if you had done it even book 2, you wouldn't have felt it so much. Or from the beginning, why put it in the last one and then suddenly be surprised that she dies?
Yeah.
And it was so boring when it came out, and it was all. It was a very clever idea
It was.
originally.
Yeah.
But the bit when she's then out of it and it's still the experiment, it's so boring and no one cares. And she's like, I'm going to save them. And I'm like, how? Like, what? Yeah. And so the whole point of it doesn't really make any sense.
So I need to watch the first and not the rest.
Yeah.
Hands
Do
down.
not bother with the rest.
The
of
first
it.
one is
Waste your
very
time.
clever, very well done, very to it, like with them choosing where they're going to be, and
And the characters, like Zoe Kravitz is in it again.
Zoe Kravitz,
Perfect.
love her.
Guy plays Will, spot on.
Yes.
The parents, the brother,
Everything,
all of it.
and it works so well. But I think in a way maybe they fucked up the films because she fucked up the books.
Oh, exactly.
Do you know what I
They
mean?
didn't really have much to work with.
And then they were going to say, because they were going to do a last film, and then they were like, but we're going to do it as a TV film. So the main actors were like, no, didn't sign up for that contract, so it's a feature film. I'm done, I'm stepping back, I'm going to go do my other
so
stuff.
quick, weren't they?
All of them dropped as soon as
Yeah.
they could. Like,
Instantly.
they all ran out because it wouldn't have been worth it. And I think they themselves saw. I mean, her career is still done phenomenal. And Zoe Kravitz.
Yeah, they've all done really well. Ansel Elgort's done a few. He's done Baby
Yeah,
Driver.
exactly. So they've done really well, and they've taken what they needed from it because itself died off, but that's not their fault.
Okay. So it had potential to be a franchise, but it didn't quite make it.
But I don't think it ever did, not with that third book.
No, I think
ever
that's what
even
killed
with a
it.
fantastic cast and a
I don't
fantastic
even know.
director.
I don't know if I would even. I hadn't read the third book before I'd seen the first two. So I'd seen the first one and read the first one. Then I read the second one, read the third, saw the second one. Then I read the third one, and that's when I was like, what?
Yeah.
And I still watched it thinking, well, maybe they were going to make it better because the second film was different anyway, and then they just even made it even worse, and it's just.
Okay. Time for one last one. One last one.
Percy Jackson.
Time for one last one. We're going Percy Jackson.
Percy Jackson.
Yeah. For some reason, I really thought you were going to say 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, no,
sorry.
I've never read that or seen the film, so I can't talk about
That
Why are you
face.
looking at that? Do you know the problem I have with that, right? Is I have a friend who knows the family of the woman who wrote 50 Shades of Grey.
Yes.
And so I cannot physically read the book without picturing like
Some
my friend. No,
connection.
it's a bit weird. I can't. And I don't like Jamie Dornan, and so I can't watch that.
That's another conversation.
Well, do you want to talk about 50 Shades?
No, it's fine. I've actually read those books. All that needs to be said with that is it was a big craze when it was a craze.
It's now done.
It's now done.
And it's disappeared.
It's done.
Did you see that interview they did with J.K. Rowling just after it came out? And the interviewer was like, "Did you know that 50 Shades of Grey has now sold like however many million more copies than Harry Potter?" And she just turns to him and she goes, "Think how many copies I could have sold if Harry had been a bit more creative with his wand." I was like,
Yes.
Oh my god, brilliant.
That was something. Right, don't worry about it.
It shows you what a lot of horny women do then.
yeah.
Bad books.
I can't think of what the word is when people write their own
Erotica.
stuff.
Oh, fan fiction.
Erotica.
That's what it was. It was fan fiction
I'm not
erotica.
talking about erotica.
You mean fan fiction?
Fan fiction, when people write their own stuff
Yeah,
about
yeah.
it. Okay, some people probably do write erotica about
That's what
Harry
50
Potter.
Shades is.
Yeah. It
Yes,
is.
I
It's
mean,
50
but I
Shades
meant
of
Harry
Twilight.
Potter.
Oh, there is Harry Potter.
You know 50
erotica.
Shades?
Yes,
is
it's
erotic.
off Twilight. Yes, I knew that. That's probably why I read. That's
So you
probably
think
why
so,
I
in a
said
way,
stuff.
the Twilight franchise carried on a little bit through the 50 Shades?
Yes,
Yeah.
And people probably then rewatched Twilight again because it was, oh, well, that was because of that, let's
I
rewatch
wonder if
it.
people imagine him being a vampire.
Oh my god, wasn't there like that weird craze with the Twihards where people were like drinking blood? I'm sure I remember that.
Yes,
There
you
was
are
like
correct.
a really, really
People
gross story
were
about
drinking blood
periods
and
after-
buying
Periods?
Oh my god, I read this. I don't even. It was like a story that
They had spoons.
about this woman
With
that was
a spoon.
literally
Yeah.
feeding it to her boyfriend.
No.
Yeah, it's the thing. She
It was
literally
horrific.
had a spoon. We interrupt this video.
For advertisement.
Her boyfriend's
Don't do that,
It
people.
was awful.
That's not right.
That's not right. And then the people were going out and buying the exact same motorbike as Jacob was fixing up.
Oh,
and
okay,
stuff
yeah.
like that. Okay, let's go Percy Jackson. Let's
Okay.
cut all this
Right,
period
okay.
talk out.
So, Percy Jackson,
It's one of my favourite book series ever.
ever. And the sequel series I really enjoyed. John,
I'm in the middle of it, yeah. I like found it really hard to get into.
Heroes of Olympus.
But I
But
finally like started it and now I'm loving it.
I think I know why. It's because you love Percy Jackson
Yeah,
so
I was
much.
like, where's Percy?
and
Where's
then he's in
Percy?
the second one, isn't he? So it's
But
Percy.
Annabeth's not.
But I know
So,
that's
like,
what
you don't have
irritates
the
me.
team.
And then they're not as much in the third one, but they are in it.
Yeah.
And then the newest one is the Apollo series, which I'm reading, and I have to read because it's just nostalgia and
I've
it's
got the
good,
books.
and
I've
it is
got the
good,
books.
but it's obviously just not the same as
No.
it is. But in a good, it's still in a different way, so it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But the films.
Oh my god, the film.
I've seen the first movie.
So I saw the first film before I read the book, And I was like, oh God, I love this. I love the books. And I started reading the books, and I was like, how the hell did I love that film? Like, I mean, I can still watch it because it's nice to actually see them on screen. But this is the error they did. So they did a few errors, to be fair. But
A few.
one of the biggest ones is the age. They are meant to be 11 or 12, like Harry Potter when that started, for a reason.
Yeah.
And that is because the whole prophecy is based off when they become 16.
And the prophecy is like at the very beginning of the first book, and
Yeah.
it finally finishes at the end of the last book. So it's like a key part of the entire
the whole
series.
And if you make them 16 at the beginning, then there's no point of the whole series.
Then everything just happens.
It like
in the first
builds
book.
up to
Yeah.
when they're 16, doesn't it? It
Yeah.
builds. Yeah.
And
Just like in Harry Potter.
the writer,
Rick Riordan.
that letter.
Oh my god, yeah. So basically, I don't even know where I found it.
Oh, brilliant.
But it was like a blog post that he'd written, and he was saying that like he emailed the producers when they sent him the script, and he emailed them. And he was basically like, "This is absolute shit. This is awful.
Yeah.
Like, what are you playing at?" And he literally sent them like a list of things. He was like, "I changed this and I do this because I'm going to write this in the book. So I need you to make sure that you do this." And
Oh, so this is the person that wrote
Wrote
the
the
book.
book. Because he did the first book, and
And
then
I think it was like he'd done a few.
maybe
before
he
they were
did the
gonna
second
do
one,
the
and then
film.
they did the film before
Yeah.
he'd even set up where it was going. And he is so meticulous in putting in things.
Wow, yeah.
And he has connected even the Apollo ones.
They're all connected up.
It actually turns out he's already hinted
That
at
would
this
be you.
in the middle of the second
That
series.
would be you
But, like,
100%.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
He
it's...
even offered to consult on the film. Like, I think he offered
Yeah.
to do it for free, and they literally turned around and they were like,
No, we don't need you.
Be like, this is my film series,
Yeah.
bitch. Like, no.
And
Like-
then he wrote this bit at the bottom of the blog post, and it was like, "So I've basically like got rid of all ties to that film. I don't endorse it. It's not my book.
Oh
It's
my
nothing
god.
to do with
He's
it.
completely
Don't watch
washed
it."
his
He
hands.
literally was like, and I'd be like that if
Yeah,
our
if
book ever
book-
made it to a film,
and
I'd be
us.
like, "Don't you mess this up.
No.
This is my life."
But that's why I said if we ever get published
Yeah.
on that contract, I'm making sure that we have creative control and decisions on what happens if it's ever turned into a film. And I don't care if they go,
Cast,
well, you won't ever
storyline.
get published. So that, well, I'd rather not be published then, because
It's-
the
can you
fact that
imagine
someone could
someone
completely
messing up?
destroy your work because they get to own the rights.
Yeah.
Well, they're my rights. If I'm going to let someone have the rights, I have to be able to say yay or nay
Yeah.
to certain things.
Yeah.
Like Annabeth, I think I would have preferred if they had just cast her as a completely different ethnicity or something. Because
Yeah.
what's the point of casting her when they say so? Annabeth has grey stormy eyes because
Mhm.
her mum is Athena. That's what Athena
Got
has.
it.
Yeah.
And her dad is blonde because he's from California or San Francisco or something
Yeah.
like that, and he's that kind of guy.
Like
so she
a
has
surfer
long,
kind of dude
curly
feeling.
blonde
Yeah.
hair.
So the actress they picked, she's got green eyes and she's got
No,
long, straight.
like blue, bright,
bright
blue
blue
eyes.
eyes,
Like
isn't she?
stunning. She's stunning.
Mm,
And
and,
she's got bright blue eyes
and long straight brown hair.
I
Brown
think I
hair.
know who you mean.
And
Alexandra
why you
Daddario.
like you could even put a wig on her, and I would have felt better
Yeah.
because that's what I mean. Like if you change her ethnicity, it wouldn't have mattered about that kind of thing
No.
because it's different ethnicity. So I wouldn't have picked. I mean, even I would pick at her eyes because the eyes need to be grey
Yeah.
because it's such a key point of her.
It's like her
Yeah.
defining
Which-
characteristics.
Yeah.
It's what he always.
And he
Percy
always
notices.
and he always talks about it. Or even in the second series when when Annabeth turns up, he points out all her long hair, blonde hair, and her grey eyes.
Blue,
green,
Bigger
grey.
colour.
But her grey eyes. So why would you then go and completely ruin that fact?
A lot of
And
people
then in
done
the
that with
second
Harry Potter
one,
as well,
They
didn't
then dyed her hair a bit, but kind of not.
And it was too late at that point.
Yeah,
It was like,
you've
why
already
are you
made the
doing it?
mistake.
Now it's just made it obvious that you cocked it up in the first
Yeah,
place.
exactly.
If you just ignored it, people would have got on board with it.
Fair enough.
And the other thing that really bugged me as well is making them 16 meant they had to push the love triangle to begin with. Whereas the whole point
Yes.
is like that Percy and Annabeth are like best friends.
Yes.
And then it builds like
It
a proper
builds into
relationship
a
does,
proper
rather than being like, here's
relationship,
a boy and here's a girl and here we go.
There was no. He kind of crushed on her a tiny bit, but also she's so no to him the whole
Yeah.
way through, so it makes it work. That then by the time they're at that point in the last one where they finally
is
get
it like
it,
a he loves her but
Oh,
she
it's
loves
so
him but she
cute.
doesn't
Yeah,
love
but
him
Like
type
builds
thing?
as the books go
yeah,
on.
but he also doesn't overly focus on it.
No.
And like Tala's character, they completely, because at the end of the second film they decided to bring her in after
Oh,
everything's already
no.
happened. Well,
But that-
she's such a key figure.
And she has such a history, like she ties into Grover and Annabeth and Luke.
And it's all, it
was
hurts.
like the last film, there's 5 books in the series.
Mm.
The first film is the first book and a little bit of the second book.
Yeah.
And then the second film is all of the books put together, but like half of the plot is gone and they've just sort
Yeah,
of shoved
and
bits
kind of
of
mashed
stuff
them
in.
together.
So
And then Kronos appears at the end, but you haven't actually learned anything about Kronos. He
And
just
how
comes
he
out of the
just-
coffin and he's
and
actually
they just-
massive.
And they just be able to defeat him.
Yeah, and Clarice as well. She just appears.
Yeah.
Explain
And
who
why
she
is she no butch kind of woman? She's just kind of like a pretty skinny girl that's got brown hair. Like
No.
So, are we calling it a franchise?
no,
No.
a dead franchise.
A dead
There was talk
franchise.
about them doing a TV show, and like each
Yes.
season would be a book, and I was like, oh my god, I would actually die if they did that. And then it
Yeah.
just disappeared.
Because you could carry that on to the Olympus ones and the Apollo ones.
And if Rick Riordan was literally like producer,
Yes.
like J.K. Rowling did for
Yes,
Harry
yes,
Potter, and
yes.
like Suzanne Collins did for Hunger Games,
Yeah.
that'd be amazing.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's such a key thing when you see that.
Well, it
the
sounds like
authors
there's.
involved.
That's the thing. It sounds like a pattern or something almost.
Yeah.
That the author should be. That's your creation. You should be
Yeah.
part of making that movie.
Yeah.
So others can't mess up.
Well, that's what the Percy Jackson author guy said. He was like, I should never, because he
Yeah.
handed over the rights, and he was
Yeah.
like, I should never have done that.
No.
Because
But at the time, he didn't think it because he wanted to be published because you would. And
I think
so
he had
excited.
to. I think part of, like, when he got his book published, they said.
That's what I'm
there's a
saying. Like,
movie,
we
yeah,
get published, we probably.
the rights go to them.
You don't have a choice
No.
because it's either you get published or you don't get published. Because a lot of film places don't. They don't want the idea that you have be able to have creative
They want
control.
to take your little bit of that idea that you've got and then
And run
do
with
them
it.
right
and do what they want with it. And I'm
Yeah.
just like,
That's not on. You didn't make that idea.
Yeah.
That's not yours. You
No.
don't own it. Yeah.
So,
Right.
but yeah.
That's all of them, isn't it?
So, if there's any franchises that you really loved growing up, or any that you think we've missed out clearly, comment below, put them in there, or any of the ones we've mentioned if you like them, or if you agree with our comments.
Yeah.
Don't forget to press that subscribe button, turn the little notification bell on, and even press the little like button because we like that. You know, get this video to 11 likes if we can, and
Like which way?
and press the share button as well.
Oh,
Go
we're
on,
going for 11?
share us. Yeah, I thought
We're
we'd go
going for 11.
And share us with your friends, with the world. Show everyone, see what they think of what we think. And yeah, so we'll see you next guys. See you next guys.
That was so close.
Dickhead. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye.